President Jacob Zuma attended the G8 and G20 summits in Muskoka and Toronto respectively on the 25th to 27th June 2010. G8, or Group of 8 forums, brings together leaders of the most industrialized nations in the world. The meeting is intended to find common ground on key topics and solutions to the global challenges. This year's summit focused on the improvement of the maternal, newborn and child health throughout the world. South Africa is among the specially invited non-member countries that attended the G8 summit. The G20 summit, on the other hand, brings together the world's developing countries and the developed G8 countries. South Africa is the only African member state of the G20.
The G20 summit declaration that puts some of the meat on the bones of the framework of strong, sustainable and balanced growth will lead us to country-level assessments as we approach the next meeting in Seoul. It's also important to note agreement on ongoing and important financial sector reforms, specifically to increase the quality and quantity of capital standards, to enhance prudent regulatory oversight, and a commitment, most importantly, to accelerate this work and complete it by the summit in South Korea. I should note as well the issue of bank levies has been left to individual countries.
This forum has developed into the world stage that brings the world's most influential countries together to find solutions to the wide range of issues afflicting the world. One of the challenges facing the developing countries is the rules governing the international financial institutions, which the developing countries want changed.
I can say we've reached a point where it is difficult for the developed countries to say this cannot happen. I think everybody accepts that it needs to happen. We need to introduce the reforms, and of course they also claim there have been some reforms that have been introduced, but that there must be more, and we must also be more concrete about it. I think generally we could say there is a general understanding on the matter, and also a call by everybody that, look, let the measures be concrete and be seen, although you could feel the unease about it, but I think in a sense, as everybody sees the sense and sees the logic of what the developing countries are saying. But of course, people said, well, it's fine. We'll deal with the matters. We'll see how the officials, the Sherpas, the ministers work on it, probably conclude some of the issues in the next summit, etc. But I don't think there is anyone who is out and out resisting at this point in time. It's very critical. Absolutely critical to everybody else, critical to developing countries, critical more to African countries in particular. And I think everybody accepts that reality. We have been saying this issue has been on the table for a long time, and we don't believe that we should keep on discussing this issue. And also that we can't be seen as an African countries as coming to developed countries with cap in hand. We are actually demanding what is our right, not a privilege. And therefore we are saying it has to happen. We've got to be part of the decision making at the top, as part of the countries that are there, that are actually participating, that have a meaningful way of participating in the economy of the world. And therefore, I think everybody has those who have been resisting, they don't have an argument to put against. So people say, fine, let it happen, but how? It's a question of, in a sense, like you are delaying but not arguing that you cannot do it. I think everybody agrees now that you can do it. And I think what we've been saying from the African continent in particular, as well as other developing and emerging, economies, to say this must now happen. Time has come. You cannot be ruled by the regulations and rules that were there more than 40, 50 years ago. The world has changed and the rules must change. And I think the demand is very, very strong.